You try to live in the present moment, but your pelvis is still stuck in the last century. The tightness in your hips, the unexplained heaviness at the base of your body, the difficulty to relax or create, none of this started with you. There's a ritual made of 3 conscious touches on the pelvic axis that dissolves decades of inherited tension and brings your body back to the present with noticeable results in just a few minutes. Maybe it was the year 1943 when your lineage froze and your base never forgot. This heaviness isn't just physical. It blocks relationships, sabotages your decisions, and stops your creativity before it even begins. If you walk away from this video now, you'll keep vibrating in a time that doesn't belong to you, carrying the exact moment when someone in your lineage collapsed and never found a way out. What you're about to discover isn't found in traditional therapy or in common spiritual practices. It is the key to dissolving a past that still pulses through your body. Pelvic blocks aren't just about tense muscles. They are vibrational fragments of a specific moment, the exact instant when someone in your lineage sensed an inescapable threat, and the nervous system gave the command, freeze. That command was never turned off. The pelvis became a time capsule, vibrating in a frequency of danger, even when the outside world is safe. What medicine calls chronic stiffness is actually time held in place. The vibrational ritual for temporal release works directly on that capsule. 3 precise touches on the pelvic axis, combined with rhythmic breathing and the intention to release time from the body, dissolve the defensive code imprinted in the fascia. This isn't part of conventional medical protocols or traditional therapeutic approaches. It is the intersection of epigenetics, somatic neurophysiology, and hermetic wisdom, something psychology doesn't name because it still doesn't know how to touch the body where time stopped. In the mystery traditions of ancient Egypt, the pelvis was known as the throne of Isis, the point where the soul descends and anchors itself in earthly time. When this throne vibrates in defense mode, incarnation doesn't complete. The soul remains partially suspended, watching the body from the outside, unable to fully inhabit the base. The priests understood, a throne in collapse cannot sustain presence, and without presence at the vibrational ground level, nothing can be created. Contemporary neuroscience found the same code from a different angle. Rachel Yehuda discovered that trauma changes genetic expression for up to 3 generations. The body inherits survival instructions without inheriting conscious memories. Stephen Porges mapped dorsal collapse. When the nervous system senses an unavoidable threat, it shuts down metabolism and freezes internal time. Now you understand why your pelvis pulses as if it was still in 1943, and you're about to learn how to dissolve that seal. The pelvis is not just a bone structure. It's the only territory in the body where 3 systems converge. The sacral vagus nerve, which governs immobilization and collapse. The deep fascia, which records the chemical signatures of every intense emotion. And the central energetic axis, described in contemplative traditions as the root of manifestation. When these 3 systems detect an inescapable threat, they create a somatic marker, a defensive contraction so deep that the pelvis literally shuts down, as if it still needed to protect vital organs from a blow that will never come again. This marker doesn't dissolve on its own. Fascia works like a bioelectric semiconductor. It records the exact frequency of the traumatic moment and keeps vibrating at that signature indefinitely. That's why you may have been safe for decades, yet your pelvis still pulses in high alert. Connective tissue holds memory through time, not as mental recollection, but as an active state. Every time you try to relax the base of your body, the somatic marker reactivates and gives the command, stay on guard. The past is, quite literally, still happening there. The vibrational ritual for temporal release works directly on this code. It's not about using external force to overcome resistance. It's about conscious permission for the nervous system to update its safety map. When you touch the pelvis with full presence and the intention to let go, you're sending a clear neural signal. The threat is over. The body can release. The frozen time can finally return to the past, where it belongs. This gesture doesn't force an opening. It offers a way out. The first touch happens on the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of your spine. Place your dominant hand there, using gentle but steady pressure, as if you were acknowledging something that's been waiting to be touched. Take a deep breath and let the exhale slowly sink down to the base of your pelvis, as if the air had enough weight to reach the ground. Keep the touch for 3 full breaths. The intention here is to anchor, to bring awareness to the present body, to the now, to the only time that truly exists. This touch activates mechanoreceptors in the fascia, tiny sensors that detect pressure and send signals directly to the brainstem. When the brain receives information of conscious touch coming from the base of the body, it interprets it as a sign of safety. The ventral parasympathetic nervous system begins to activate. Your breathing naturally deepens. The metabolism slows down its state of alert. In that very moment, the pelvis receives its first real signal that it can begin to release the contraction it has held for decades, or even generations. Keep your hand on the sacrum and notice. You might feel warmth there, or a subtle tingling, or a rhythmic pulse you never noticed before. These are signs that the fascia is beginning to release stored charge. Don't force anything. Just notice. This first touch is the root touching the ground, the body remembering it has a foundation, that solid earth exists below, that it no longer has to hover in escape mode. The base is safe. This is the first code being unlocked. Now, move both hands to your iliac crests, the hip bones you can feel when you place your hands on your waist. Apply gentle pressure, creating a physical bridge between the pelvis and the heart. Take a deep breath and feel the expansion in your chest move downward, reaching your hands. Imagine or feel a thread of light connecting the center of your heart to the base of your pelvis. This gesture reconnects the ventral vagus nerve, the neural pathway of social safety, with the root of the body. Presence can finally descend to a place where there was only defense before. The second touch is the bridge. It allows the body to integrate 2 territories that are often kept apart: the heart, where you feel connection and openness, and the pelvis, where you carry contraction and inherited fear. When these 2 regions start to communicate through breath, something fundamental shifts. The nervous system recognizes that safety doesn't live only in the head or the chest, it can also live in the base. And when the base feels safe, the entire body relaxes in layers you didn't even know were tense. Keep your hands on the iliac crests for 5 full breaths. With each exhale, visualize or feel the contraction in your pelvis softening a little more, like wax warming up. There is no rush. Your body has carried this pattern long enough. What it needs now is gentle witnessing, not urgency. You may notice emotions rising: sadness without an obvious reason, deep sighs, a sudden urge to cry or move. Allow it. These are body memories being released. What was frozen is now beginning to flow again. The third touch is the gesture of release. Place one hand over your pubic bone, the front bone at the lower part of your abdomen, just above the genital area. Take a deep breath. In this touch, your intention must be clear. You are returning the frozen time to the past, where it belongs. Silently or out loud, you may say, "I release what is not mine. Time now rests." This phrase acts as a vibrational command. The body listens, the fascia responds. The defensive code begins to dissolve. This third touch reaches the core of the time capsule. The pubic bone sits at the front line of the pelvis. It is the first point that contracts when the body senses a threat to survival or integrity. Touching that place with the intention to release creates an exit portal for the stored charge. While keeping your hand steady, breathe in a steady rhythm. Inhale for 4 counts, pause briefly, then exhale for 6 counts. This pattern mirrors the waves of cerebrospinal fluid, the liquid that flows around the spinal cord and carries emotional information through the entire central nervous system. With each long exhale, you are quite literally washing the body's memory. The rhythm of your breath reorganizes the vibrational frequency of the fascia. What was stuck in a defensive loop begins to find a way out. Stay in this third touch for 7 complete breaths. At the end, slowly remove your hand and remain still for 60 to 90 seconds. This time is crucial. It's when your nervous system processes the new information and updates its internal safety map. Do not skip this pause. It's in that stillness where the transformation is sealed. Signs that release is happening. You may feel intense warmth in your pelvis, as if something were thawing from within. Subtle tremors or gentle waves may move through your legs. Your breath deepens effortlessly, reaching areas of the body that once felt shut down. Your legs might feel heavier, more grounded, or you may feel a sudden lightness, as if an invisible weight had been lifted. All of these are signs that the somatic marker is dissolving. The frozen time is being released. Your body is returning to the now. This practice is not a one-time event. It's a recalibration that deepens with repetition. Do the ritual once a day for 7 consecutive days. With each repetition, deeper layers of defense begin to soften. Trauma doesn't dissolve all at once. It releases in layers, like an onion. By the 3rd day, you may access memories or sensations that didn't show up on the 1st. By the 7th day, your pelvis will already be vibrating at a different frequency. Patterns that once shaped your choices without your awareness begin to lose power. Relationships that kept repeating the same pain begin to shift. Projects that were stuck begin to move forward. When the base of your body vibrates in safety, everything changes. Decisions are no longer automatic reactions to inherited fears. They begin to emerge from the creative presence that lives in the now. You stop sabotaging what is working. You stop attracting situations that replay ancestral trauma. You stop living as if you're still running from something that's already over. Life can finally begin, not as survival, but as conscious creation. And it all starts when you touch the base of your body and say, "Frozen time now rests." This technique has transformed real lives, and one of those stories you are about to hear. Rowan woke up every day with the feeling that her hips didn't belong to her. At 48 years old, working as a literature teacher in a public school, she knew how to read between the lines in her students' writing, but the tension in the base of her own body remained a silent mystery. It wasn't just physical stiffness. It was as if something ancient was buried there, vibrating in a state of alert even when nothing was threatening. Her relationships always ended the same way, at the exact moment she needed to fully surrender. The creative writing that once flowed effortlessly now stalled before it even began. During a conversation with a somatic trauma mentor, Rowan heard for the first time, "Maybe the fear you feel isn't yours." The sentence pierced something. She began to explore her family history and found out that her maternal grandmother had lost her husband on the front lines in the year 1943. Left alone with two small children, she lived through extreme rationing and constant fear, never once given permission to collapse. She never spoke about it. She never cried. She simply hardened and had more children while still carrying the vibrational collapse of that helpless moment of terror. Rowan's mother inherited the tightness in her hips, and Rowan inherited the frozen moment without ever living through the war. When she began the vibrational ritual for temporal release, something shifted within the first week. The touch on her sacrum brought immediate tears, not her sadness, but something older, heavier, as if it had finally been given permission to leave. On the fifth day, when she placed her hands on her iliac crests, she felt for the first time in decades that she had roots, that her hips could relax without it meaning collapse. On the seventh day, as she touched her pubic bone with the intention of returning frozen time to the past, she whispered, "Grandma, you can rest now," and something literally softened inside her. 3 months later, Rowan no longer recognized her own body. The chronic tightness in her hips had dissolved in layers. It didn't vanish overnight, but gradually lost its grip until it became just a distant memory. For the first time in years, she entered a relationship without sabotaging it at the moment of surrender. Her writing began to flow again, as if an internal facet had been turned back on. But the deepest change was invisible. Her decisions stopped coming from inherited fear and began to rise from the presence that finally lived in the base of her body. Rowan was no longer vibrating in 1943. She had come home to her own time. The transformation Rowan experienced over the course of months can be sealed into your body now in under 1 minute. Not as a grand event, but as a traceable somatic code. Something so simple you can repeat it whenever you feel the stiffness trying to return. The body needs physical anchors to sustain new states. Without this sealing, the mind may understand the practice, but the nervous system forgets and returns to the old pattern. That's why what comes next is not optional. It is the gesture that crystallizes the shift and prevents frozen time from reclaiming its place. Place one hand on your sacrum now. Take 3 deep breaths, feeling the air sink all the way down to the base of your pelvis. With each exhale, repeat silently or in a soft voice, "Frozen time now rests." This is your signal gesture, the key that reactivates presence at the base whenever stiffness tries to return. The physical markers that integration is happening are simple. You feel warmth in the sacrum, breath reaching places it couldn't reach before, a sensation of grounding under your feet. When these signs appear, you'll know the code has been updated. And every time your pelvis contracts again in defense, you have a point of return. Hand on the sacrum, 3 breaths, the phrase, 30 seconds to bring you back to the now. This is not a technique, it's a vibrational sealing. What was frozen in your body for generations can finally rest, and you can finally inhabit the only time that truly exists. As long as the base of your body is vibrating in your lineage's time, the present will always be interrupted. You can try to live in the now, but your pelvis will keep pulsing in the 1940s, obeying a survival command that should have expired long before you were born. But when frozen time is released, when you finally touch the root of inherited fear and say, "This is not mine," something fundamental changes. The body wakes up from the ancestral trance, and life, for the first time in generations, can truly begin. Peter Levine wrote, "Trauma is not in the event, but in the nervous system." And he was right. But there's another layer. Trauma is also in time, not just as memory of what happened, but as a continuous present that never ended. Your pelvis doesn't know the war is over. It doesn't know that danger has passed. It's still vibrating in the exact moment someone in your lineage collapsed and never made it out. Releasing that time isn't just personal healing, it's sacred responsibility. It's breaking the pattern so that your children, your grandchildren, or any life touched by yours no longer inherit the frozen moment you finally had the courage to dissolve. The body is the temple where God dwells. But when the foundation of that temple is in collapse, divine presence cannot fully descend. The pelvis is the base, the ground where the sacred anchors itself. If that ground is vibrating in fear, defense, and escape, the divine remains suspended, trying to enter a space that still isn't ready. But when you release time from the base, when you say what was frozen now rests, something greater can finally land. The temple is complete, and God, or whatever name you give, that presence can finally inhabit all of you, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Releasing frozen time is allowing the dead to finally rest. No longer breathing through your flesh, no longer vibrating in your sacrum, no longer steering your choices, your relationships, your creations. They carried what they could. They survived the best they knew how. And now you have the chance to return that burden to the past, where it belongs, not in anger, but in reverence. You are releasing your entire lineage, and in doing so, you free yourself as well. After generations of living in the frequency of another time, you can finally return to your own body, to your own time, to your own life. The pelvis that was once locked in 1943 now pulses in the present. And when the base vibrates in safety, everything reorganizes. What was blocked begins to flow. What was frozen starts to thaw. What was inherited finally comes to rest. You are no longer carrying the past. You are creating the now. If this video resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to access more somatic release practices. If you'd like to directly support the mission of Transcend and help us reach more people who are carrying time that doesn't belong to them, consider becoming a channel member. Your contribution sustains this portal of ancestral and neurophysiological knowledge. I want to know, did you feel the release happen? Write in the comments. I release the decades of frozen fear in my pelvic base and reclaim my creation. This statement seals the transformation in your body and your lineage. Share this video with someone you know who's still carrying 1943 in their pelvis. Someone who needs to discover that inherited fear can finally rest. And don't stop here. Click on the screen to watch another video from the channel. Every practice you integrate brings you back to the body that has always been yours, but that generations have kept you from inhabiting. Remember, your body is the only place where the past can finally be released, and where the future can be created without the weight of a time that was never yours.